Successful Minds with Patricia Barnowski-Schneider, the show that takes you around the world to share interviews with some of the most successful and relevant people on the planet. Hear their stories and get the most important business lessons they have learned on their road to success and get exclusive advice on how to implement their success into your life and business. Successful Minds with Patricia Barnowski-Schneider is brought to you by the Strategic Advisor Board and your host, Patricia Barnowski-Schneider.
Hey, are you looking to scale your business from 5 figures to 6 figures or 6 figures to 7 figures? If you are, I have the perfect thing for you. What I want you to do today is I want you to go download a book. This book is going to take you through my 3-pillar system. It's 100% free. All you have to do is go to growfast.cash. I say again, go to growfast.cash and you're going to be able to download my free international best-selling book, which is called Be Good, Be Brief, Be Gone. You can take that book. It's going to help you scale your business to the next level. Again, go download it. Be good, be brief, be gone. Growfast.cash. I say again, growfast.cash. Enjoy.
Hello, and welcome back to Successful Minds. I'm your host, Patty Baranowski-Schneider. Today, I'm joined by Jeffrey Charles Hardy, an international healthcare futurist, speaker, and author of To Care for Peace, a global mandate to change the world. So welcome, Jeffrey. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thanks, Patricia. I am a healthcare facility planner, which means that for the last 50 years, I've been working in the United States and in many different countries all over the world. And my job is to help people during those early stages of deciding what they want to do when it comes to having a new facility. And that could be a hospital or a clinic, you name it. And I've had a career that I couldn't have invented from the beginning or even halfway through. It has been a magical career. And my last job was when I sold my company and decided that I would help people all over the world rather than all these rich people in America and Columbia HCA and Kaiser, all these big corporations that I was helping. And I went out to Vietnam and to Nigeria, Kenya, ended up in Myanmar, which nobody knows where it is, even though it's Burma, and ended up building a prototype community development and health center in the most rural place in the world, even more rural than anywhere in Africa. I challenge anybody. So building that and working with Aung San Suu Kyi's she's the Nobel Prize winning lady who was the one who helped her whole country move to democracy. And so I worked with her top people and the ministers of health and everything to design this clinic as a prototype for 250 more of them. It was a perfect project. And it was so amazing. We were already getting ready to build the next 5 of 250 when all of a sudden the military came in and overthrew the government, which tossed us out. Wow. And here I am for the first time in my life with nothing to do. I mean, I couldn't even email the people in Myanmar that we'd been working with because I was afraid if they got an email and the military got a copy of it, they'd say, oh, let's go arrest that guy. And so I decided to write a book. I figured, okay, if you don't have anything else to do, you know that expression, if you can't do, you teach. Well, if you can't do or teach, then you write a book. And so that's what I did. And it was a wonderful thing to do because it really pulled in all my experiences of planning to focus on, okay, if you know how to plan a healthcare system in many different places in the world, why don't you think about how to plan the future of humanity? So my delusions of adequacy and delusions of grandeur all came together at once. And I wrote this book, and I just really loved writing the book. Wow. And so what I'm doing now is I'm just having podcasts to test this concept and to listen to your questions and see if these are questions that other people want, because I'm really starting with you guys. I'm starting with
We're
the
the guinea pig.
global. Well, no, I'm the guinea pig for you. So you know what? I have to be honest from the very beginning. I am used to getting in front of big audiences, up to 2,000 people, to talk about healthcare and planning and everything. I'm used to that. Last one was a keynote speech in Taiwan, in Taipei, and on sister hospitals. It was a wonderful, wonderful experience. And so I figured, why don't I get in front of, mostly I'm looking for college kids and for young people to be able to talk about this whole first human evolution, the second human evolution, and how we can get there through a planning process. So as I say, delusions of grandeur, delusions of adequacy, it's all out there, okay? So I'm thinking that, how do I get up on stage and make sure that people aren't laughing at me? So go ahead, fire away.
No, there's always someone out there who has different views on everything. So it's kind of like, if this isn't your people, you go to the next.
Yes, exactly.
Now, you mentioned the first human evolution is over and that we're in the suspended human evolution. So can you explain what you mean by these terms and what characterizes each stage?
Thank you. The first human evolution began 2.5 million years ago when we started evolving from monkeydom to humandom. And at that point, we slowly, gradually, over millions of years, went through fighting and killing each other, and tribes and all that, and nations fighting and killing each other, you name it. And then sometime around the mid-60s, we were able to blow each other up. Mutually assured destruction. Also, around the mid-60s, we were pretty conscious that we know the world is round because we've been around it, and we've pretty much explored everything. It's also the time when the French inspired us to the existential movement, and right here in America, it was when the peace movement began. We had Martin Luther King. We just had wonderful things happening in a positive way, not just that we can blow the world up, but the positive way. Mm-hmm. So I just said, you know what, that's the end of the first human evolution, because this is a time that we can look at it as the end of what was begun 2.5 million years ago. Where are we now? And that's why I call this time, this phase that we are in, this period of time, this I don't know what you call it. It's not an epoch or an era. It's just an event. We're in this event called the suspended human evolution, because we've got the remnants of the first human evolution in our spirits. We've got it when you look around, when you see of all the killings and the peoples with guns shooting people. Just all the killing is still around, but there are fewer people who are killing other people. I mean, we're starting to be a little bit more peaceful, but we don't have a plan. And when I say we don't have a plan, I mean we as in humanity, we don't have a plan. Mm-hmm. So the second human evolution has not even begun. It's out there. It's what I'm calling what it is that we need to plan for. When I'm planning a healthcare facility, I have a goal, and the goal is to plan something. It might start out being planning a hospital, but it might end up being, let's just plan a clinic. And when I was in Myanmar, I thought I was planning a hospital before I even got there. And then I found out after I got there that these guys don't need a hospital, they need rural clinics. And then when I got to a rural place where I was going to build a rural clinic, I said, oh, they don't need a rural clinic, they need a mobile health van to be able to go to these villages. They had to put big knobby tires on this van, and it got stuck in the mud more times than I care to admit. So, I mean, the whole process of planning has a lot of experimentation involved, but the first thing you got to do in planning is talk. You got to talk. And that's why I look at people like you, Patricia, and there's not that many people like you, because when I explore the world of podcasts, man, there's all sorts of cooking podcasts, and I forget it. What you're doing is probably the most important thing, because you're starting to explore, and the people who are exploring, like what you're doing, the exploration process has got to be stage one. It's not getting out a piece of paper. It's not saying, okay, let's figure out what we're going to do here next. No, 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 no. Back up. Let's talk about the values. Well, we're already looking at global warming. We already have things going on with the problems in Florida and the flooding of towns that are right on the seaboard. And so, we're obviously moving in the right direction. And what I say to that is, yeah, we are. But it's not a global plan. And you can't deal with global problems without a global plan. I mean, does that sound logical?
You would think it makes sense, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's unfortunate. Yeah, because, I always say, like, way back, I mean, back in the day, we at least you want to believe, I was a child and growing up in school, and that the world had some sort of structure. We had a government that was helping, and nothing is the same anymore. It's like the government's not for the people anymore. The healthcare, at least here, is not for the people. It's for who's making the most money. So there is no plan, and somebody needs to step in and kind of help structure this the right way, because things are like going backwards. And it's unfortunate. So I'm glad that you're doing what you're doing, because it's a needed thing that nobody cares, because everybody nowadays is, how much am I going to make? If I'm not making enough money, I'm not going to put the time and effort into it. It's not, whatever happened to do what's best for the people. That just seems to be a foreign concept anymore. So, yeah, good for you.
Well, I agree with you. And also, when you say someone needs to step in, I'm not raising my hand and saying it's me, because I'm a process guy. I'm here to help facilitate. That's really my job. And when I'm in the healthcare process, I'm there to get the discussion started, to get people to back up. And that's the first thing you got to do in discussing what you might do. You got to get them back up. In hospitals, I show up, and the first thing I do is get all the people who were supposedly starting to want to be part of this planning process to go visit other hospitals, go see other health systems, hop in the airplane, just because you have to have a commonality of understanding of reality before you can actually plan. And so that's really what we have to do. And that's why I'm good at what I do. And that's the facilitating process. And you're right. We need to get people who are good at leading this charge. It's not me. So
hopefully people take notice, and the people who can help facilitate will start stepping in, because it's a team effort, and you need everybody. You always say, stay in your lane. That's what you do, and that's awesome. Then we need somebody else to come in and help process. Yeah,
more like a dirt trail. It's not much of a lane.
Now, you propose the concept of a second human evolution. So what does this entail, and who do you believe it's crucial for reversing the climate change and attaining sustainability?
Well, the human evolution, there's 3 stages. The first human evolution, the sustainable evolution that we're in right now, where we have to say, we need the tools to plan the second human evolution. So the second human evolution is a place and time that we need to structure. And I think the first thing we really have to do is we have to look at ourselves, and we have to start with what I'm saying, the spirit of caring for peace. Now, my foundation that went to Myanmar is called the Care for Peace Foundation. I also have a song that we wrote for the groundbreaking of for the opening of the Community Development Health Center, called the Care for Peace Anthem. And you can go get it on YouTube, because we got some incredible a cappella singers to take the song I wrote and take it away. It's unbelievable. And then, of course, the book, To Care for Peace. So you got to start with what's in here. And the second human evolution will not be designed by people who don't understand what it means to care for peace. Let's start with peace. Peace is not the place at the end of a war, nor is it the time at the end of the war, nor is it the time and place between two wars, nor is peace sitting up on top of a mountain with your arms crossed, your legs crossed, and focusing on nirvana or whatever, when the people down in the valley are all suffering. We have to redefine or hone in on new definitions, because peace to me is something that we need to know what it is inside ourselves and then use that feeling that we have to care for other people. And that's why it's care for peace, because in my opinion, you've got to have active caring for dynamic peace. Active caring for dynamic peace. And that's the peace that I'm aiming at. It's the ones that you're doing right now, Patricia. You're caring, and you're having podcasts that are caring podcasts. Okay, I know you're a marketing guru, but the key is you care. And the blurbs I've read about you and the LinkedIn stuff that you've got, it all says to me that there's a basic tenet of your spirit, which is caring. Mm-hmm. So that's what you have to have in order to think about how to care for other people, and then how to take that care to looking at the world. Because without caring for everyone, and this is not pie in the sky, there's, it's an altruistic process of caring where it's your ability to think for other people, not just with other people, but for the people who can't come to the table with you, who might not even know what the heck you're doing. Because I met those people all over the world. In Africa, I met them in Vietnam, I met them in Myanmar. I have met people who they don't even read, but I'm going to care for them. And I cared for them when I was building that community development and health center, because they got my care. And they are caring for each other now. And we set up educational systems in the community development part so that they could learn business development and they could use that to promote their educational development. They're caring for each other now. I'm not there anymore. I can't even go to Myanmar. They throw me in jail. So, it works. I mean, we did a proof of concept. And so I think that's one of the delusions of adequacy I've got. I figured if we did that in one tiny little village in one country that's struggling in the world, then what the heck? We can do it in the whole world. So.
Well, it's interesting because even like with marketing, it's the same thing. Like I've represented clients around the world, and every company, they have an attitude of, I'm the greatest, everybody should just buy from me. And I always tell them it's not about you. It's about who are you servicing? What are their needs? What are their wants? Yes. That's what the whole marketing is about anyway, but that's what every company should be thinking. It has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
Why are you in business? It's not to make money, but how are you helping somebody's pain point? What need are you filling? So a lot of people need to realize that it's a big world out there. And, even I had written a book about life's obstacles can be your greatest motivators, because I know people have way worse stories than me, but, people judge a book by its cover. You have no idea what somebody's gone through. And it's humbled me beyond belief because, I've been through hell and back also. And, it helps you understand that not everybody was born with a silver spoon in their mouth. Not everybody was born wealthy. Some people have really had, and like I said, I have it compared to some of the people you've helped. I'm probably living large compared to them, but you have to understand that there's people out there that need the help, and people have to start looking at themselves and say, how can, that's what we're here in this world for. How can you help people, but.
Amen. Yeah. Amen. Yeah. The whole, it's very refreshing to hear you say that, because, and marketing and how you're thinking about the client. And for me, I guess it goes back to when I was a hospital corpsman and training in the United States Coast Guard Reserve, when I was actually taking care of people and thinking, wow, care. And I'm I'm peaceful at the end of the day, and I'm taking care of these guys who were seamen coming back from the Vietnam War. And so, and they're at peace, and this is really cool. And I thought I'd discovered something until I met nurses all over the world, and every single one of them knew what care for peace was. So, I mean, when it comes right down to it, what I'm saying we need to have as a prerequisite to plan the second human evolution, the prerequisite is already in the spirit of the people I sure know, people like you, and just it's there. We just have to use it.
You have to educate people, let them know, this is the path. Yeah, good stuff. Now, your work as an international healthcare facility planner, it spans over 50 years across multiple continents. So how have your experiences shaped your understanding of human evolution and the need for global change?
Well, probably by experience. I was in a traffic jam, I think somewhere in India. And a traffic jam, you couldn't see the road. All you could see was the dust and some of these buses that have people sitting on top of the buses, but they're really not on top of the buses. They're sitting on top of the baggage that's on top of the buses. And these buses have all sorts of things glued all over them and banners flying from them. These are just regular buses. And then you've got mopeds flying by you. And I'm sitting here in a air-conditioned taxi standing still. And I'm thinking, this was an unbelievable experience to realize that, is the whole world one big traffic jam? And that's where I got the idea of this is the end of something, And then I was going to Agra. When I got to Agra, I remember going through the mausoleum and going out to a balustrade that was overlooking the river, and just thinking about what I had just gone through, not the mausoleum, but the whole taxi thing and the traffic jam, and realizing that this might be the end of the first human evolution. And it was only then that I started really thinking about, okay, how can we move forward? How can we get past this traffic jam? There's got to be a way. And so that was 2009. And that was a revelation that lasted many, many years. And so from that point on, I started really putting together this idea of, well, here I am planning a big hospital in Hanoi. Look at all these people all over Hanoi. I mean, it's this, this whole traffic jam of the world was kind of affecting my thinking, and then it was just my thinking, and I was writing notes all over the place. Every time I have a notepad always in my pocket. Doesn't matter where I go. I always have a notepad and a pen, and I was writing notes about where I was at, and some of the experiences that I was having, but not the experiences themselves, but what was coming in my head about these experiences, that eventually I took all these notes, put it on a piece of paper and put it on a computer. And then when I had the opportunity of getting kicked out of a country, I wrote a book, and I took those notes and packaged it all together and put it in the book. So that's what the experiences did for me. They inspired what it means to care for peace. What's the next step? Okay, you say that now. Now, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. It's interesting how sometimes we're in situations and we have no idea why, but sometimes you're put in situations. Like I've spent some time in Peru, and I'm coming from New York, Manhattan, and now I'm in this third world country. People living in a box, don't know where their next meal. So you get to see, like, wow, things. Everybody's in a bubble, and they just assume this is how it is everywhere. Not even close, So you obviously were in where you needed to be. So,
I like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So now, can you elaborate on how the Care for Peace Foundation contributes to the mission of securing the second human evolution? Like, what are some of the foundation's most impactful initiatives to date?
Looking to grow your business beyond 5 figures, 6 figures, 7 figures plus, what I want you to do is go download this book. The title is called Be Good, Be Brief, Be Gone. It will help you grow your business past 5, 6, and 7 figure. Go download the book today, growfast.cash. I say again, growfast.cash, and download the book for absolutely free.
Well, right now, the most impactful, what I can't initiative is that I wrote a book and I'm talking about it. Impactful, yes. Well, because we got booted out of a country and I didn't have anything else to do, I wrote a book. So that's what the foundation is doing. We are not doing anything right now. Our foundation is in if I'm being honest, it's either dead or it's a hiatal situation. We have explored going into 2 Central America countries, but we have decided not to because we have to start at the top. And we had Aung San Suu Kyi at the top of Myanmar. We had top people in the Communist Party at the top of Vietnam. I mean, it's like, you really have to, and I worked with the governor of River State in Nigeria. I mean, it's like we got to start at the top. When I was with Kaiser Foundation International in my early years working around the world, Kaiser Foundation International was already connected with the tops of the government so that I didn't have to deal with that part. But you got to start at the top. And we couldn't find something solid enough like Myanmar for another country. I dream of being able to go over and help Gaza, Israel, Jerusalem, Lebanon, Syria. I dream of being able to help these countries because we're non-denominational. I mean, we want to help villages. We want to help where the people need help. That's all. We're just that's pretty much what Bill and Melinda Gates are doing, and Medicine Sans Fronteras. We're no different than what they are. So the answer to your question of impactful is just what I'm doing, talking with you. That's it. I've got to keep the concept going, the basic concept, the theories, and the planning process. And so I'm throwing that out there, and hopefully the youth will pick up the whole idea that we need to have a planning mechanism, global planning mechanism, in other words, so that we can design the second human evolution. It has not begun yet.
Now, have you spoken in the media? Has any media been interested in this? Because, I mean, that's, sometimes helps spread the word.
I have MSNBC.com, Microsoft's. I've had articles there. There's been an article in, I'm trying to think what, USA Today, some, I think Yahoo Finance, Sports, no, not Sports Illustrated, Mechanics, something. So, I mean, some people, it's a start, and I don't want to go fast on this. I'm not looking at this. I mean, I'm having fun doing what I'm doing, and people ask me when I'm going to start my own podcast. I'm not interested in starting a podcast. I want to, because then I'm in charge, and I don't want to be in charge. I want to be a guest on globally focused podcasts so that we can get the word out. My goal is to be able to speak at these college campuses and high school campuses and anywhere there's youth and community efforts. I don't know, they've got tours or something for people, well-known people, but I'm not well-known yet. So,
well, I mean, when you say start at the top, I mean, you think of people like, I just think off the top of my head, Leonardo DiCaprio, he's into climate change and helping people, and he's got a lot of connections. I mean, so Leonardo, wherever you are, pay attention. I mean, I agree, you have to start at the top, and that's where, unfortunately, no matter what you're doing, people look at you like you're just a little peon, but they'll acknowledge people at the top, which to me is silly, but I agree. So yeah, I'll help try to spread the word as best I can. Now to listen.
Thank you.
No, my pleasure. Now, in your book, To Care for Peace, a global mandate to secure the second human evolution, what are the key messages you hope to convey to your readers, and why is the global mandate so important now?
Well, that's a loaded pile of questions. Let's see, which one will I start with? Well, first of all, there is a quote at the bottom of the front cover of the book, and it's, "The process is the solution." The process is the solution. And AT&T had a commercial long time ago saying that the system is a solution, and I'm saying, wait. You got to have a process to get to the right solution. And there's solutions out there, like some of the buildings I've seen being built that are not the right solutions to a well-designed hospital. These are just, pathetic. So forget the solution, that the system being the solution. No, you've got to start with the process, what you and I are doing with the pre-planning process, even before process, the process of designing something. So I think that you got to recognize that. You've got to recognize that we have to have a commonality of understanding of reality. And that's where we back up and we look at the world together. And we have to look at the world together and discuss the world together so that we say, well, I'm for abortion. No, I'm not. I'm for it. I'm against it. That's not an issue we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about population. We're going to talk about people in the northern part of Africa coming from Turkey and China and other countries to be able to hop on a boat and sink halfway across the Mediterranean because there's so many people on the boats. And the same thing is happening in the Bay of Bengal. I mean, the people are passing each other, trying to escape where they are in their boats. Boats are passing each other, going somewhere they think is going to be better than where they're at. And it's really sad. We've got to start talking about what I call population continuity. Forget population control. Let's talk about population continuity and what that means on an individual basis. Example, my wife and I, we have 2 boys. I got fixed. I replicated myself. My wife replicated herself. That's population continuity. Now, how do you extend that to your community? How do you extend that to the rest of humanity? You go to Mali and the average number of babies coming out. Oh, and of course, Somalia. Somalia and the Sudan. I've been watching what's going on in the Sudan. There's too many babies coming out. And, we can, are you against humanity? I says, look, man, you got to plan this thing. If you don't understand what planning is all about, then it doesn't matter. We're not going to get anywhere unless we start planning. Mm-hmm. So I think some of the takeaways from the book, the big ones are that. Now, because I'm a planner, I also throw in some planning terms in the book. I also talk about the from to, which gets people to start looking at issues not in opinion format, but in, okay, what do you think the first human evolution? Well, yeah, we went and killed everybody. Well, what's the to? Well, we don't go kill everybody. Okay, well, there's a simple from to right there, that if in the second human evolution, we've got to decide that we're not going to be killing each other. Gee, what a simple one that is. But, you got to start by backing up and then putting things on a scale of where it's been and where you want to go. That's it. And you can even do that with abortion. I mean, you can say, okay, well, abortion was against the law. At one point, it was midwives were in charge of doing it. In some countries, it's not even a question. If it lives for 5 minutes, it lives for 5 minutes. If it lives 2 years, fine. So it's the from, and then, okay, now we've got modern medicine. So we've got babies being, pulled out, cesarean sections and saved. You got premature operations going on, preemies. So we've got a whole bunch of things that are allowing every single preemie and baby to be born healthy. And so that's not a problem. I'm not looking at that as a problem, but I'm looking at where we're going. Are we going to still do that in the second human evolution. Oh, you can't raise that issue. Then we have religious things that are against that. Okay, what's the from to in religion? What here's the way it was in religion. It was, we need more people at the table of the Lord. Okay, where are we going to go? That was a flatlanders concept, or you can say it was a concept for, well, yeah, we need more people so that they can fight the wars, or that we can have we can go take over another religion. There's just a lot of situations that we have to deal with. But then finally in the book, the last section of the book, I've got 4 templates. And I think that's the most important thing in the book, because the 4 templates are tools that people can use to think about themselves and think about their relationships, think about the balance between the physical aspects and the spiritual aspects of the second human evolution. Now, look at Karl Marx. Karl Marx was just into the physical side, to everyone according to their ability, their need, from everyone according to their ability. Okay, I know he said it some other way, but what I say is that he forgot the spiritual. Yeah, you can't. He allowed it. I mean, there were some things that he said, and that his people who believed in him said, but it wasn't a real balance. And what I'm trying to do is make sure that we don't screw up again and just do that Karl Marx type approach to our physical needs, but have a spiritual needs, because I believe that humans need a spiritual side, and they need it to be part of their justification, their purpose of life, their purpose of taking care of people and trying to attain peace for themselves and for other people. I mean, it all ties together. And then the last template, okay, the first template is personal. That's just how I feel. The second template is relational. It's how we relate to each other, and how we related to each other in the first human evolution, and how we need to be thinking about a relationship to each other in the second human evolution. The third one is this balance thing, this balance between the physical and the spiritual aspects of who we are, what we do, what we want to accomplish for in the second human evolution. And the fourth one is an organizational. An organizational is either a government or a business or even a religion. It's what do we have to have in our organizations in the second human evolution that provides for individual, relational, and group physical and spiritual balance. And it's a question that has arisen in me in my whole life. And when I look at what's going on in the world, it's that the balance isn't there. We need to have the balance. So we need to ask ourselves, what is that balance?
Yeah, definitely an interesting take for sure. Now tell us, you've been featured in many media outlets discussing the stages of human evolution. So what kind of reception have you received from the public and the scientific community about your ideas?
None.
Nobody gave an opinion. Nobody cared.
No. By the way, I've sold 6 books. I just want to let you know, I'm right out there. First of all, I've given away a lot of books. But that's the people I know and the people I meet, and I always have a couple of them in my bag so I can give them away. I don't care about selling them. I mean, I put the book on Amazon, because I wanted to be able to print it and then give it to my friends.
Right. No, I
and
agree.
I really, and my primary client was my board and the wonderful people in Myanmar who I've given a lot to. Stick them in a package and cost $25 for me to send one book to Myanmar. So,
yeah, we got to get
to
you
a
in
couple
front
of people.
schools.
So, I'd love to, but it's just, and I'm not pushing it. I'm not pushing any of this stuff. As I say, my number one goal right now is to have a wonderful conversation with you.
Oh, thank you. But we'll definitely get you in front of people. So I guess with all your teaching, so what are some of the practical steps individuals, communities, or governments can take to actively participate in and support the second human evolution?
Talk. Yeah, talk. There was a 50s song. You talk too much. You worry me to death. You talk too much. You even worry my dead or my dog or something. I don't know what it was. You talk too much. No, there's not talking. There's no too much talking in this. We've got to talk. But the key is the tools for thinking really begins with this. You got to start with yourself, and don't start with your opinions. Yeah, opinions are just really. We need to throw issues out there. One of the biggest problems I've got with our American government and the governments in California, as in the House and the Senate, is that we let them vote so that we see their vote. They shouldn't. They should be voting the way we vote. You, me. We vote with a secret ballot. You know what that would do? That would take all the money out, and we would have to elect these people based on how they think and how they discuss the issues, not what their opinions are. Mm-hmm. And that's our biggest problem that we have right now. And I know I'm throwing out an idea that probably people will shoot down, and then it'll be,
just say we agree to disagree to people. That's all.
All of a sudden, I'm throwing out a great option for people to say, oh, let's have an opinion about that. But what I'm saying is that the opinions, if you want to get rid of opinions, you got to get rid of the opinions. That's how you do it. And you start talking about issues. I want to watch two people discuss the issues, and then I want to say, well, that's really interesting. What was the other interesting issue that you were talking about? And I really liked how when you were discussing the issue, instead of saying, okay, well, what's the one now about, people who get tips, they shouldn't have to pay taxes. Well, you know what? If I was the guy on the other side, I would have said, it's a great idea. Let's talk about that instead of,
It's just a different world. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, I'm working with another company who is all fighting for climate change, and they have a solution, and they just need funding and blah, blah, blah. And they've got all this. It's crazy. It all boils down to, is it voting season? Where are the priorities? And then it's swept under a carpet for a couple of years. It's like, we have a solution. We have this is working, but it's no longer about what's best for the people. It's what's best for their pockets. It's a shame.
Right.
We're on another planet, apparently. I just don't, it's nowhere near what it used to be back in the day.
Well, you know what? It's a process, and I don't look at any process going, on a tangent without, oh wow, look, we really got mislaid right there. Where the heck? Oh, we're in the forest. We better get back to the road, And when I look at Trump, I think, okay, this is about as far out. Could we get any further out? Yeah, we could, do what Netanyahu's doing. I mean, but there is further out, and people compare Trump to Hitler, and I'm saying, no, you guys haven't seen nothing yet. So we're going back and forth. It's not a pendulum that swings. Just imagine a pendulum without a rope hanging it. It's really this thing floating all around the world that we're chasing, and that's okay. It's not okay when it comes to progressing the human evolution, our consciousness of our need to civilize humanity. No, it's not. We're still floating around, and as someone said to me, he says, "Hardy, you're nuts. We aren't in any suspended human evolution. We're still in the first human evolution."
We've got a long way to go yet.
Good point.
Now tell us, how do you see the role of spirituality and consciousness in promoting global change and advancing human evolution, as discussed in your various podcasts and television appearances?
Yeah. No, I love it. I absolutely want to see the progression of religious consciousness to continue. And I think, and Muslim, Christian, Hindu, Buddhism. When I was in Myanmar, it was a Buddhist country, right? But one of the meanest guys in the world was a guy in Rakhine State who was talking about going and killing all the Muslims. I mean, and you can't blame Buddhism for that. You got to blame human nature if you really want to blame something. This guy is saying, okay, well, that's what a lot of people are saying. And Aung San Suu Kyi, as far as a lot of people feel, failed the Buddhist movement because she didn't come out against the the murder and mayhem that the Arakan army uh, uh, laid upon the feet of the Rohingyas, who ended up crossing the river and going to Bangladesh, a million of them. So, there's all sorts of religious stuff that isn't part of the progression of humanity. And so I would like to see them continue to progress, but once again, some of them are on a tangent. That one is on a tangent. Nobody's there to pull that guy in, that that Buddhist monk in and say, wait a minute, this is against everything we believe in. Why are you doing it? Then I talk to other Buddhists, and these are people who say they're Buddhists, but then they're the same way. They say, oh, let's drop pigs from a helicopter so that the pig blood explodes and gets all over the Muslim. Someone said that to me. And that's a Buddhist person. And I'm saying, that's not progression of your religion. I don't even think that's an expression of a religion. So I think that we have a lot of work to do in our religious selves. Now, spiritual is what your question was, and I think that people are really but have been looking at the difference between spiritual and religion. And spiritual is something that really the concept started evolving in the mass evolution in the mid 60s too. I mean, that's where you got all the spiritual movements, and in America we had a lot of sex, and we had a lot of sex, SECTS, and a lot of important changes. We had Cecil Williams in San Francisco, who was absolutely a wonderful man, and he led a Christian church, but he really aimed at the spiritual. And his church, since he passed, has become one of the most unbelievable philanthropic efforts for the homeless people in San Francisco of ever. But then at the same time, we had Jim Jones, who was the guy who went to Suriname or Guyana and had everybody drink Kool-Aid. There's always going to be these tangents. There's always going to be these people who take things on a tangent. They run off the road, and there's going to be people who run off the road with them. And I think that, frankly, what Trump has done is he's run off the road, and there's 80 million people who've run off the road behind him. So I just hope that we can use these as okay, this is an experience, but my spiritual nature is telling me that there's something wrong here, because that's the basis of what's spiritual. It's your ability to know what's right and wrong, and use that ability. Don't put it aside, but use that ability to say, no, you can't do that. And I'm not going to vote for you because you can't do that. I won't get behind you. I'm going to get those people who are following you to either keep going past you and fall into the river, off the cliff with the lemurs. Anyway, and that might not be the answer you're looking for. I should probably.
I got you though. Tell us, what are the next steps for promoting awareness and action toward the second human evolution? And how can listeners of the podcast get involved with your mission through the Care for Peace Foundation?
Through the foundation, I can't say donate any money because we are not accepting any money right now because we do not have a project. Now, if you want to buy a book, oh my God, I don't even know what I do with the money. I think I made 30 cents. I made 30 cents last month. I gotta tell you, yeah, go ahead, buy a book. I'm gonna make $1 million. So there's nothing you can do with your money. Okay, so forget it. And if you want to learn about the book without reading, just go to Amazon and you can read the front cover and the back cover because that's pretty much it. And then if you really go crazy, you can buy the book and get the templates.
Well, can anybody get in touch with you or help support you sharing the word or?
Sure. I'm just Jeff at careforpeace.org. Careforpeace.org. That's easy to remember. So, or not easy. I don't. Okay. So, at any rate, I just think that there's nothing you can do except talk. Please talk. This is not the Holocene we're talking about. This is not the Anthropocene.
Yeah, you were sliding down. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sliding.
That's all good.
That's part of my personality more than anything else. But when I say it's not the Holocene, that's a geographic term. It's not the Anthropocene. That's a concept that all these guys at the high levels of discussion of what to call something, because that's how humanity and what we do affects the land, sea, and sky. How do we affect the geography? This is not that. No, the human evolution, the 3 stages of human evolution is just humans. It's just us, guys. That's it. We're not going to include the geography or other animals. No, we're going to just look at Homo sapiens. And so I'd say if you're going to do anything, read the book Sapiens. Read the books that are much more well written than anything I've written. I'm not even a writer, although I write words, sentences, and paragraphs, and actually I can say I wrote a book. But no, read some of these books that are out there that are just awesome. Halali, when he wrote Sapiens, he caught the attention of Obama. And Obama said it was his favorite book, and so because Obama read it, I read it. I'll follow Obama anywhere. I know. Probably now. I'll tell you what I think about Obama. Anyway,
how can people get a hold of you or learn more about you?
Oh, they can send me any nice email. Can go to Jeff at careforpeace.org. If you have any unnice things to say to me, you can send it to Jeff at irs.com. And
yeah, everybody be flooding that would know.
Nice. But I'd say, that's go for it.
Okay.
That's my To Care for Peace cup right here. And it has the chorus of my song. Who you are is what you give with your heart and with your hands to care for peace. Yeah.
Well, thank you again for being on the show. Again, that was Jeffrey Charles Hardy. So thanks for listening to Successful Minds with Patty B. Never miss an episode by subscribing. So thank you so much again.
Thank you, Patricia.
Thank you.
Hey, we all want to scale our business. Hey, I have the answer for you today to help you do that. If you're looking to scale from 5, 6, even 7 figures and beyond, book called Be Good, Be Brief, Be Gone. I'm going to give it to you for free. All you have to do is type in growfast.cash. I say again, growfast.cash. and you can download the book for absolutely free. I hope the book helps you this year. Take your business to the next level. Again, go grab the book, growfast.cash. I say again, growfast.cash. I wish you the best and grow, scale, and win.
Thank you for listening to Successful Minds with your host, Patricia Barnowski-Schneider. Please leave your feedback and visit strategicadvisorboard.com to get the latest and greatest business advisement on the planet. Follow us on social media for updates, and we'll see you on the next episode.
There it is. Magnum. Holy moly.
Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for!
Dear